unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live.
Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson agree to fight. Let's talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I am back with some more boxing. Wow. So it is being reported Shakur Stevenson, Frank Martin, they have agreed to fight this year, right? They're saying the reported date could be November 16th in LV, Las Vegas, or December 9th in New York. That's what the sources are saying. They were scheduled to have a purse bid today, and that purse bid was called off. And as you guys know, a purse bid is an auction style where if you meet the minimum requirements and the minimum bid, you can bid as a promoter for the rights to hold the fight. But it looks like the two teams, Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin, are amicably, they've reached a deal, you know, and they're working together to make this fight. Nobody's ducking the smoke. And they're saying the fight, Shakur Stevenson versus Frank Martin, would be televised on ESPN. It would be a main event days, it depends on the date, but days before the Formula One Grand Prix in Las Vegas. Or they would do it before the Heisman Trophy Award, kind of like Top Rank's been doing that with Teofimo in past years. So this is a good fight. 2023 has been marvelous. It's been a wonderful year. Now, the funny thing is, when I do these Tale of the Tapes, Boxingego First Look, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. And when I do this and I compare and I look and do my research, because I tell you all the time, I don't do predictions. I'm not here in this game to waste my time, and I'm definitely not in the game to waste y'all time. So if it ain't a fight, then there ain't nothing for me to really overly talk about. But when we actually have some legs that the fight is going to happen, that's when I get busy. So you guys got to subscribe to the channel. But when I'm doing these Tale of the Tapes and doing my research for a fight that looks very likely or basically is agreed to happen and we're getting, I find it very ironic that a lot of these guys in the fights that you can think of in your mind that are 50-50 fights, their records indicate that it's tooth and nail and it's really close. So for example, in my mind, this is a great fight, Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin. And if you look at their records, it indicates this even matchup. Shakur Stevenson is 26 years old. Frank Martin is 28 years old. So they're both within 2 years of each other. But then even more so, Shakur Stevenson's record is undefeated. Frank Martin's undefeated. Shakur Stevenson has a record of 20-0 with 10 knockouts. Frank Martin's record is 18-0 with 2 more knockouts at 12 knockouts. So 20-0 with 10 KOs, 18-0 with 12 KOs. In the same age group, both undefeated, and both fighters are Southpaws, which is very interesting because Terrence Crawford, who's Shakur Stevenson's homie, when he fought Errol Spence, he didn't even give Errol Spence the opportunity to get a look at him in the orthodox stance. And I believe that was for the whole fight. He kind of had his way and stood and stayed as a southpaw, but he came out as a southpaw, which if you watch other Crawford fights, he doesn't always do. Sometimes he gets a feel for you, but he knew Errol Spence, you know, was one of them ones. So he didn't even want to leave anything to chance. But the point I'm making is we had basically Terrence Crawford, even though he's ambidextrous, he's better as a southpaw. So I'm going to basically call him a southpaw. Errol Spence too is a southpaw. And then we seen what happened when those two southpaws fought each other. But the same thing is like, you never know. Southpaw versus southpaw matchup. People always talk in boxing about Mexico versus Puerto Rico or black fighter versus Mexican fighter and some of the historic fights we've got in rivalries. But in my opinion, I think one of the underrated rivalries in the sport are fights where you have two southpaw fighters. It's always interesting. That's why I was looking forward to Shakur Stevenson and Lomachenko. because they're both on the same side of the street. I thought that was an easier fight to make, but Lomachenko, he didn't want no parts of that, and he said he's taking the rest of the year off after the Devin Haney loss, even though he's at Usyk's fight and taking fan pictures and stuff. It looked like he could fight. He just chose to sit out for the rest of the year. And in steps Frank Martin, who was next on the line. Also, somebody who was above him was Isaac Pitbull Cruz. But I tell you all the time, I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close. You guys can listen to me, listen to whoever you want. I get paid the same. It really doesn't matter. But I told you, I'm not going to hold Isaac Pitbull Cruz and say, oh, he ducked Shakur. I know that's a popular talking point, but I truly believe that he has the Gervonta Davis fight next. It makes all the sense in the world. Gervonta Davis already fought twice this year against two Garcias. There's some history there, and some people were saying Pitbull Cruz beat Tank and gave him a run for his money. Tank also got out of jail earlier this summer. So I think that's probably the rightful fight that I could see being made towards the end of the year. And with that being said, how can we say Isaac Cruz is ducking an opportunity at a title with Shakur Stevenson? Yes, but it's for a vacant title. Shakur at the moment is not a champion in this new weight class. Has the opportunity to become a champion, but it's for a vacant title. So you got to understand the business. Why would Isaac Pitbull Cruz fight a non-champion for a vacant title who only has one fight at lightweight, which is Shakur Stevenson, talented fighter, but that's the facts. He got one fight at lightweight, and forego the fight he's been calling out since it happened, which is Gervonta Davis, who happens to be the biggest star in those divisions, 130 to 145, 147-ish, you know what I'm saying? He's the biggest name. He's like one of the biggest stars, if not the biggest star in boxing. So there's a strong likelihood that he'll make more money by fighting Gervonta Davis, despite him only having a secondary belt. Oscar De La Hoya said when Ryan Garcia fought against Tank, he made over $30 million. That's what Oscar De La Hoya said. And, I haven't heard anything to contradict that. So that being said, I'm not saying Pitbull Cruz will make 30 mil, but at the end of the day, he's going to make a pretty penny, and he's going to make likely more than he would have to fight Shakur for a vacant belt. So if Pitbull Cruz and Tank doesn't happen next, and it's because of Pitbull Cruz, then you can enter the conversations about, oh, he ducked Shakur and stuff like that. As far as Lomachenko, though, he don't have no reason why he ain't getting the Tank fight next. So there's really no reason for him to not have fought the guy that called him out, the guy on the same side of the street as you, Shakur Stevenson. Shakur said it'd be one of the most technically sound fights with two Southpaws from the Olympics, you know what I mean? And Lomachenko looked the other way, but he don't really have a scapegoat to escape. He doesn't really have an excuse as to why he wouldn't be trying to fight Shakur Stevenson other than he don't want none. Now back to Shakur Stevenson versus Frank Martin. It's a beautiful fight. Two technicians. Frank Martin takes his time. Shakur is he's pretty aggressive, to be honest. So it'll be pretty interesting. Now, I think there's another misconception. People keep saying that Frank Martin didn't look great in his last fight. I don't believe that. I think he was just in there with that Artem dude, the Harutnikov or whatever the dude's name was, and he was just a talented, awkward guy. And despite that, when Derek James told him to step it up, he stepped it up, and I thought he convincingly won. But just because you haven't heard of a guy doesn't mean he's no good. That guy came from 140 pounds, and he's an Olympian. I think he might have been a two-time Olympian, if I'm not mistaken. So at the end of the day, you just didn't know who he was, but he was just a tough out. I don't think Frank Martin looked as bad, because even if you said he was losing based on inactivity in the early rounds. If you had him losing early rounds, it wasn't that he was getting off some clean shots, but he just needed a little bit higher volume. I would say he should have picked up the volume just a touch. But he wasn't getting dog walked or anything. He was getting hit with some shots. He was letting off shots. And then when he picked up the tempo, you seen what happened, and he ended up hurting and dropping, and made the Artem dude take a knee, and he convincingly won the fight. So I don't know what a lot of y'all talking about. It reminds me of Jermall Charlo versus Fernando Montiel. A lot of people overstated, oh, Munguia knocked out Montiel. Each fight is its own. Some people have different and better camps and different things like that. Some guys are just hard to dispatch and get rid of. It's that simple. No more, no less. I don't care what y'all talking about. I don't think Frank Martin looked as bad as people are saying. I don't think Jermall Charlo versus Montiel looked crazy bad. They hurt their opponent. You know, it's also Jermall Charlo when he fought Korobov. People made it sound like he looked horrible. These are just crafty guys. Korobov's a guy from the amateurs that fought Golovkin. You see what I'm saying? But that's already over some of y'all pay grade because y'all know ish about boxing. I'm the best in the business. Subscribe to the channel. I'm where it's at. Stop playing. Shakur, Frank Martin, I'll keep you posted. Subscribe. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxingego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.